the end so far? Okay. If people start trickling in, that's okay. It's kind of one of these kind of events. People can kind of come and go, both online and in person. Yeah. Are we rolling good to go? Yeah. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. All right, cool. Welcome, everybody, to our second Boxland Media in-person game dev meetup. My name is Wesley Adams. I'm here with the Central Ohio Game Dev Group. Welcome to everybody who's normally here as part of our group, as well as folks who are new. How many people is their first time here at Boxland Media? Let me see. Cool, all right. So we'll talk a little bit about the space. This is kind of a new experience for us. Like I said, this is our second time being here. It's a nonprofit space for all kinds of multimedia. And it's a great partnership that we've had kind of working with them. And we're trying to kind of get back into doing more kind of in-person events. As you can tell, this for those of you who are online, this is a simulcast event. And it's a great way for us to kind of get people kind of rotating in, both online and in person if they can't make it out, but always have like a recording for people if they miss the event. So feel free to kind of chime on in. We've got, for those of you who are in person, we have name tags back there. You can write whatever you want. It doesn't even have to be your real name. Around 6 o'clock, we'll have pizza here at the event. So if you guys are sticking around that long, you're more than welcome to some food. In the back here, there's going to be some bathrooms, so if you need to use that, feel free to get up whenever you need to. Yeah, we have 4 presentations today, so we'll have a lot of good energy for that. So while we kind of go through, I don't know, Shane, if you got a couple seconds, did you want to talk about the space real quick before we get into the nitty-gritty? And then I'll just commandeer with everything COGG related. So the way these usually work is it's kind of a news update on things for the game industry here and around the Central Ohio area. And we got Shane here talking about the space, and I'll talk about COGG afterwards.
Hey everybody, my name is Shane. I'm the creative director here at Boxland. We do all kinds of different stuff here. So behind me is our stage. It's a black box theater stage, so it's a 20 by 20 stage. We've done anything from stand-up, improv, sketch comedy, all the way up to theater performances, musicals, and full band performances. We've also done some live podcasts on the stage as well. So we have the ability to stream anything that's on the stage as well. And then in that room over there is our actual podcast studio. So we've got a couple different set backgrounds that we can do. We can 3-camera video podcast recording. And we also do video production here as well. So if there's anything that you ever want to do videos-wise, music videos, just simply editing, that's a service that we also provide as well. Otherwise, we're a nonprofit, so all the art on the wall is for sale. It's available. It's 100% of it goes to the artist. We do have a bar, and if you do want anything from the bar, just let me know, and I can run back there. We do have White Monster energy drinks, so we got that one especially for you guys. It was somebody wanted a Monster last time, and I'm like, we don't have any, but I got some. So other than that, yeah, if you want to do any kind of event, if you got an idea for something, just let me know. We can talk after the event, and we'll get going here. So I'll turn it back over to you. Yeah, any questions for me? Just let me know later. Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's great. I'll show it off later.
Yeah, so if you guys are interested, we're going to obviously have a bit more of a casual networking portion of this event around 6 o'clock when we have pizza and stuff. So feel free to get to know each other. I know some of you may be interested in presenting your projects and games, so we'll try to get some tables set up, in the back or around here if you guys need that. If you need internet Wi-Fi, there's a little piece of paper over there by the table that you can kind of look at and get that information. But yeah, let's go ahead without further ado because we've got a packed schedule. We're going to have presentations are about 20 minutes-ish with about 5 minutes of Q&A. That's kind of what we used to do when we were doing in-person events. So kind of keep that schedule. It's not, specific. It's not like make or break, but we try to keep it there so everybody has a chance to present. Cool. So this is the June GameDev meetup coming up is July. So we have a collection of game developers in our group who want to help each other make games. We're family friendly, so keep that in mind as you're thinking about your curse words and stuff like that online or in person. But the big thing is like we have a lot of collaborations with other groups as well, right? So we have sister sites in Cleveland, Cincinnati. Cincinnati actually specifically has an IGDA, or International Game Developer Association, which is a cool chapter to kind of help us connect to other chapters around the U.S. There's a new one called Gym City Game Developers, so if you're kind of closer towards Dayton, that's a great place to go to as well as a lot of different universities. There's Columbus State, OSU, CCAD, we've done game jams there. So anywhere that you want to get connected, let us know, and our goal is just to kind of circumvent that information for you. So our events are online on YouTube and also in person. So here's some events that are coming up. At least these are kind of slated for now. They might change, but for the most part, we try to get these ahead of time so you can kind of prepare. July 11th, it says, Game Arena, sorry. That was a copy from last year. Our prototype and play is going to be the second Friday of the month, online July 11th. So pardon for the misspelling on that. So I'll get that, situated. The big thing I'll kind of show you guys here in a little bit is our meetup page is usually up to date by the end of the month. So if you're looking to see what's coming up, say for July, make sure to look the first day of July. You'll see all the events updated for that schedule. And I would also encourage you guys, as things kind of change, like, with the weather and things like that, just take a look at it before you head on out if you're going in person. That way you come here and kind of see, all those different updates. But that's usually from 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so it's a great way to kick off your weekend on a Friday night. In the online version, we host that in our Discord channel. So that's a great way to kind of get to meet people from all around Ohio, even around the world sometimes. We have one presenter today who's actually kind of localized in Poland, so that's going to be an exciting one. GameDev Meetup is this meetup, right? So it's the last Saturday of the month. Again, I have to kind of fix that. But that's going to be hopefully in person if we can. We'll try to find a space for that, so keep that in line. That's kind of going to be our cadence if we can. If it's not, then it'll be online, kind of like our prototype and play. We'll go through Discord and YouTube. So that's slated for Saturday, July 26th from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is kind of like our cadence. We're going to try to use that more often. And then we kind of are doing open forum for community spotlights. So if you have a game that you're releasing, if you have an event that you think is cool, like last weekend was the Origins event, or if you have something you want to kind of showcase, let us know. We can even make you an event on Meetup, which gets shared to a lot of other people, and we'd be happy to kind of help promote that with you. And then if you want to run it however you want to, let us know. This is kind of like a evolution to our Let's Play series that Caleb did. So if you know Caleb, one of our COGG admins. So it very much could be a Let's Play. So if you want to do a Let's Play of a game that you like or your own game, totally fine. Let us know. Just tell us the time, and if we can help promote that, we'll try to do a stream for there. We've got our social media stuff down here at the bottom. The main thing to go to is thecogg.com. So if you go to thecogg.com, you'll be greeted with this website. There's always events up here at the title bar. You can find more about our information, events, which literally goes to our meetup page. Is also this M right here. News, so if you got news and we want us to help promote that, let us know. We can put them in this page. Resources, so helpful links like I was talking about, different sister sites and whatnot. And the big one I like to showcase, we have flyers over there at the table. They'll have this QR link there as well. But the COGG games are a great way for us to kind of share your game projects to the public. A lot of times we bring this website to different events like GDEX, which is a game developer expo I'll talk about here in a little bit. And we like to showcase these. We'll download them, we'll help promote them. Obviously, if you can be there in person, that's always the best way because you can talk about your own game. But we try to, showcase as many of these as possible to help get you guys get your exposure out there as much as possible for your game that you're working on. And the big one I would say is this Discord. This is what I was talking about before. Discord is a great way to kind of see a lot about our folks. We have our admins. Once you jump in, there's the welcome channel that kind of lets you know who you can talk to. Wesley, that's me. You can always ask me stuff all the time. There's also Caleb and Tony and Tom are always helpful as well. You can find more about announcements. So I just announced, this event. So if you're kind of seeing what's coming up or what have you. And when you find this event later, it'll be in the event recordings. You can kind of look through there. We have a section for games making, specifically Unreal, Unity, Godot, and other engines. And then the big one I like to tell folks is this community section. I won't go through all of these for the sake of time, but feel free to go through these. There's a lot of really good information if you want to share your games. There's tons of games always being popped up here. This is usually what we showcase during our GameDev meetups or during our Let's Plays. And then there's all kinds of stuff. If you're wanting to start a business, you can talk about business talk. If you want to share your art, game related or whatnot, you can share it in here. There's always sounds. There's different resources. So if you have something you want to share, you can go there. I always like to tell people there's the job and collaboration. So this is kind of a self-supported opportunity. If you want to work with someone or if you have a job opportunity in the game industry somebody might find interesting, feel free to post it here. And then really everything else, I just say, hey, if it's game-related, just post in the shameless plugs. So if you have a podcast, if you have a game that you want to release or whatever, post it in here, and it gives people like a place to find that. So feel free to use this as you need to. When we do prototype and play online, we'll actually be down here at the prototype and play category. So we usually start here in this lobby room here, and there's a voice channel. You can see the mic for this lobby room here. So we kind of curate those month to month. So feel free, what I always tell people to do, easiest thing to find all our events is go to our meetup page here, click on that, and you'll see all our events down here. We are working on this currently. Soon we may be moving away from Meetup, partly because it's kind of honestly not fitting our needs and also pretty expensive, if I'm being honest. So we're kind of moving away from that, but we'll do a slow move in that opportunity. So it's not going to go away immediately, but just something to keep in mind. We're going to focus on our website as being the place to find our events. So as we start to curate those things and move them through, we'll do in a slow process so everybody is 100% clear about when our events are happening and all that good stuff. All right. So kind of went through all of this. Yep, good stuff. Okay, the big thing I wanted to let people get a reminder of, we're working on setting the platform, but we have a game jam coming up for GDEX like we do every year. So if you remember, GDEX is happening September 4th through the 7th at the Greater Columbus Convention Center. If you haven't applied as an exhibitor and want to, if you want to be a speaker, if you want to be a volunteer, we need all of it, as we always do. The more the merrier, right? So feel free to go to thegdex.com and sign up there. You can go to the apply page and sign up through our forums and everything. But just as usual, we do a game jam a couple weeks before the event. It's going to be August 1st through the 10th is the game jam period. Even if you don't have game development experience, I encourage you to join because we always try to pair you with people who have experience or try to help you through your process. We have people coming in to kind of curate the event and share ideas and feedback. So it's a great opportunity to work in games in a short amount of time, but get some new friends and have a really good time. Afterwards, we have a judging period through the 12th and the 16th. So that'll be kind of like we'll let everybody rate each other's games, who did a game jam during that period, as well as game development professionals judging alongside you. Then we'll pick like the top best in show and showcase that one at GDEX during our award ceremony on that Saturday. Always a fun event. I would say it's not really a competition. There's no prize money or anything like that. It's just kind of a fun way to kind of say, hey, I did a really good job. But the big thing is just participating. I highly encourage anybody doing game jams. It's one of the best ways to get some game development experience and get to kind of showcase what they learned and have some fun doing it too, right? So keep on the lookout for that. We'll do bigger announcements on it coming up, but I just want to give you guys a reminder about that. So for today's presentations, like right now is the news portion. We have, I'm going to do a short demo of a Roblox game that you guys have been here a couple times. You probably know our pal Drift. He's been doing a lot of stuff with Rosefield Studios, and he's got a new taxi system. So I'm always excited to kind of showcase some of that. And we have Another presentation after that is a Unity project Jake Connor is doing in his Perspective Games. He released a special edition of the Balloon to the Moon. I'm going to do a short demo of that just because that just got released this month. So again, this is part of that community spotlight that I'm talking about. So if you have a game or project that you finished and you want to promote it, let us know. We want to help you out. So we have obviously if you want to learn more, there's a little sign up there. We're happy to kind of help share that. Sis and Bro, the Cyborg Siblings. We have our presentation for that, so I'm excited to kind of go through there. And then you may have seen this really cool contraption. Andy's here today. He's going to show off some of that as well. So I always like to do after the event, that's going to be at 6 o'clock, do a little icebreaker question. So my question this month is, let's stay cool, right? Because it's been super hot, right? So I say, what ice level annoys you the most, right? If you think about Zelda, maybe those ice levels, or there's an ice level in Donkey Kong Country or something like that, or what have you. Any kind of ice levels, whatever you want to do. You don't have to talk about that. It's just kind of something fun to bring up. So, okay, cool. So I know I talked here a lot. We're going to go ahead and get started. Does anybody have any questions so far? Yes. That's a good question. Yes, we do those remote because that allows us to network with a lot of people from around the world. We've had people from the Netherlands, California, France. So it's a really great way to kind of get to know each other. We actually do it through itch.io as our game jam platform. And then we host everything through communications and actually do team forming through our Discord channel through the GDEX server. And we actually have a Discord bot called Jamio, so if you're familiar with that, he's coming back. He will help you do a wizard of setting up your teams and giving you roles and giving you team names and colors and all kinds of good stuff. So it's a blast. It's a really fun time. Yeah, good question. Yep. GDEX September 4th through the 7th. Yes. Yep. So it's the first week. It's coming up soon. I can't stress that enough. It's sooner this year because last year, it's kind of hard to find the right times to do it because of OSU, we have football seasons, right? So we have to look out for that. Last year we did it during Halloween, and that was kind of a challenge. So we're trying to find a particular medium that works for folks, but that's just to say, you have some time, but keep in mind that it is coming up pretty quickly. Yeah, good question. Any other questions? Yeah, Shane. That is good, yes. So for those of you, especially me, so the question being when is GDEX coming up? That's what I answered before, and what platform is the GDEX Game Jam happening? Those were the two questions. If you come up and present, please do, when we do Q&A afterwards, please do repeat the question for people online. So that's a good note. Hey, welcome. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Sweet. Well, let's show some games. So I'm going to go ahead and load up a video. So Drift always likes to do fun videos.
You are now listening to Radio Rosefield.
This is Radio Rosefield broadcasting live from Aspen Hill. We're here with a special report on a major milestone, the grand opening of the Aspen Link headquarters. Crowds are gathering, cameras are flashing, and excitement is in the air. To mark this incredible achievement, Aspen Link's CEO has just announced something huge. Aspen Taxi is officially coming to Rosefield County. That's right, more rides, more access, and more movement across the region. It's a big day for Aspen Hill, and things are only heating up. And now, to keep the celebration going, here's Laser Love by Delta Queens, only on Radio Rosefield.
You are now listening to.
Oh, and I have it on repeat. Ha! Yes, so that's our trailer. I always like those videos. They're really fun. Yeah, it's funny because if you're not familiar with Drift, he's someone that I met actually on a random stream when we were actually doing our online game dev meetup. And he said, hey, I got a Roblox game that's kind of like a touring simulation. And so what we did is got together and said, hey, you can stream this, like if you want to showcase it. But he lives in, Poland. So it's like kind of a neat way to kind of do a little bit of a shout out to someone who's not even within, Ohio. But we're a pretty small and tight-knit community. I said, hey, as long as you're involved and posting stuff and getting, network with us, we'd be happy to have you. And he's been stellar in terms of like, showcasing new updates. Like I said, this is a new one for the taxi system that he integrated with. And it's been a lot of fun kind of going back and forth and doing notes. So if you have your own game that you want to share in our Discord channel or even on our website, let us know. We're happy to kind of post that there and work to see some progress along with it and give you feedback within our community. Let's wait for it to load. One of the new features as well in this game is that he's updated some of the trees. As you remember, they were kind of like more, you could see in the trailer, kind of more like circular forms. He's now has a new, play screen. As it's kind of loading in. This is funny. This is not my, I did test this on my PC, but I did not test on my laptop. So it is loading in. Let's see if I can run it. Okay, cool. So if you're not familiar with Roblox, it's kind of almost like Legos in a sense. But you get a chance to kind of, build as much as you want to within the game. Like you basically just kind of use primitive shapes and some mechanics. They made for us a COGG bus, so we can use that for touring. And we just kind of, I pushed the wrong one. Yes. That is one of the things that we were doing. And we'll see how it goes. But you'll notice at the top there's a new money system. And this actually is built, I think, in mind, if I remember right. Like, the construct is that this would be in a kind of like a UK scenario. Like, all right. So he's built a lot of these roads and highways based on the UK. The bus is kind of based on buses in the UK. So it's been a lot of fun to kind of see how these all correlate. I should have audio, but I don't think it's coming through. Let me see if I can. Quick question. Yes. What are the tire icons in the bottom left? Oh, yeah, that's a good question because, I'm not really sure, but I think at some point they correlate with how the bus, mechanics work. Like, you can lock the tires. If I were to make a guess, it's probably an indicator for tire wear. Oh, yeah, probably. You gotta change your tires. And I got a feeling I probably went the wrong way, and he's probably like, what are you doing? Well, that's the thing is, it's kind of neat, and maybe I just kind of give you guys a little bit of an explorer. So apologies for that. He's always working on new mechanics, so I kind of get lost a little bit. All right, let me do this. But yeah, that's kind of one of the things is that it's kind of like you can go to an online store and you'll have a lot of different assets that you can grab from. You can grab 3D models, like he's grabbed a couple different new trees and shrubbery and rocks, but you can also do mechanical things like the bus. Nope, there we go. So yeah, I think they have kind of like a default vehicle system that utilizes, for whatever reason, the tire system on that. That's not a question. I haven't developed in Roblox. If anybody does develop in there, let us know. But that's the other thing too, is like, you know, to each its own. There's so many different engines out there that, you know, you can kind of utilize a lot of different opportunities. I've seen people use Fortnite. Somebody was showcasing a Fortnite game and showing their own version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They kind of rebuilt a lot of the systems, made their own side quests and stuff. And it was pretty cool. Like, I think the big thing is just kind of thinking about the game design mechanics. So one of the challenges that Drift had was like trying to figure out, like, how do we go about getting someone from point A to point B to kind of explore the world, right? So that's a game design challenge to kind of overcome, is you've got this great big map, right? But how do you go in and help people explore it? So sometimes it's a kind of using these like little taxi systems, scavenger hunts to get people excited to explore all the different locations. All right. So I think I was supposed to turn right here. That's the other thing, is that this bus can get pretty fast, and then I can't slow it down. Admittedly, I'm not the best driver for this at times, but I will try my best. At the very least, to get you guys a chance to see some of the new areas. So this is kind of part of the big city. These are some of the new trees. So if you've seen this before, that's some of the updates. He's got, so I'm going the right way now. He's got these new buildings. They've got like furniture inside there, so he's kind of updating some of the apartments. Okay, so here is the new taxi location. So if I park, maybe. There we go. Yeah, it's like the bus can kind of move with you, so it can be a little bit dicey at times. But you go into this building. Ooh, I could have fell to my death. That's fun. And then you talk to this guy. I call him as like, what are you buying? So if you guys seen like Resident Evil, what are you buying? So he's got this little talk bubble. It says, welcome to Aspen Hill headquarters. How can I help you? So I said, how do you work as a taxi driver? To work as a taxi driver, you need to register yourself to the box to my left, so that would be over here, and it will be ready to hit the road. How do I end my shift? To end your shift, you have to unregister yourself in the section booth to my left, so over here. So his left, or her left, doesn't matter which. And so, yeah, so he's still kind of working on this system, but it's just adding a new dialogue system to this. So if we go here, hit E, it will now put me into taxi mode. And then you'll notice I now have a new pop-up. It says incoming call. So I have to go out and you can take any of these. I mean, you could take this bus if you want. We're going to take the COGG bus just because it's fun. But you can take any transportation, but the goal is to go over to that location and kind of talk to your first client. Oop. You see, he's in mid-fall. Okay. Hey. Let me see if, am I locked? Yeah, I was locked. Okay. Yeah, that's the only thing, is that there's quite a bit that can get in the way. All right. That's just kind of like going through with some of the mechanics. So it's kind of like if you're familiar with Crazy Taxi. It's just kind of like following the guides. Cool. Oh, I think it changed it. Hey, cool. Because I thought it was a lot further away. All right. So you go to your destination, and I kind of walk over this. And now I have a new job. And these are, if I remember right, yeah, I think these are randomly generated. So the idea is that now you can go to that location and say if you had someone, that's kind of the next part, is if you have someone, you can pick them up and drop them off to the location. So we talked about brainstorming a couple different ideas on this. What might make sense to, I wonder if I can just drive through the parking lot. What might make sense to kind of help people guide through, and what would it look like to have someone be picked up with you. So like if someone needed to actually be in the bus, you can wait for them to get inside and kind of move from there. So this is kind of like where, taking your prototype and getting to a point where you can get it out to people and kind of brainstorm some ideas, like what's working well, how can we improve on some of the designs. I'm driving like a madman. Okay, cool. And then I could just stop. I mean, stop in the middle of the road is fine. I mean, that is true. Do they do that? Sometimes. I'm not talking about Coda Bus here. So now if you noticed, I now have 100, and this one is 100 pounds, right? Okay. So then the idea would be, okay, now you go to your next incoming call. So that's kind of what the experience is. You go to pick up your starting point, right? So you get your taxi service, and then that pops up the next one. So then you go to the next destination. So cool. I think that kind of gets most of the ideas across. So if you guys are interested in collaborating with them, what I would tell folks is, let me just let people see on our Discord channel. If you go to our Discord channel and you go to underneath the community category, there's a Share Your Games. And there's lots of different games up here. I highly encourage people to kind of look through this. But there's the County of Rosefield. And so I would encourage you to go through here, look through the progress. And if you want to get involved, just, hey, do you need someone to design? Do you want to pick my brain? Do you want to kind of collaborate a little bit? That's what these are kind of really made for, is that there's a lot of really good opportunities to kind of work with other people. And then, yeah, if you want to do what like I'm doing, just kind of talking to them and seeing if there's some cool stuff coming up. So, yeah, and so here's one of the taxis that are coming up as well. So if you ever want to see what that looks like. It's kind of a smaller car. On that build. Okay, and then this is kind of like going back to the service. Anyways, you kind of get the idea. Cool. So if you have something you want to showcase, feel free to go on Discord and share that with our group. I want to give a moment for those of you who've seen this. Does anybody have any comments or questions that they have for Drift? Yeah. Yes, it is still a prototype. So the question is this a prototype or is this a work in progress, right? Yeah. I was just curious if it was just out as an early access thing, or if it was still in a prototype phase. Yeah, it's still in a prototype phase. If you do, Roblox is free. Like you can just download that. If you want to get involved and play around with it, you can talk to Drift and he can get you access to it, like he did for me. But yeah, it's very much a work in progress. I'm not sure what the scope is entirely yet. I think he's just kind of working on it periodically. But yeah, it's a good question, because then at some point it'd be great to kind of have it as a map that's published and people kind of just play if they find it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. So the question is, what, potentially if Roblox supports custom shaders, you might be able to help there. So yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I forget what Roblox is built in. I think it's like Lua or Java. But that would be a good question, because I think these programs I've seen before, like, they are kind of like a video game in a video game, like a game dev engine in a video game, right? So there are opportunities. It's a little bit trickier, but I've definitely seen some opportunities for complex stuff in the past. So yeah, I might look more into that. I don't know the answer, but yeah. And you had a question? Yeah.
Two questions. I don't know if you would have the answers for them, but
Yeah, we'll start with the first one.
what would you be able to spend money on?
Oh, okay. So the question for Drift would be, what would you be willing to spend money on? I don't think he has a budget.
I guess I should say the in-game currency you earn.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, so spend money on. So I know there's a currency in the game. So the question is, what would you spend the money on? That's a good question. So Drift, if you have an answer to that at some point, would you intend the money to go towards something you could buy in the game? Like maybe it's an apartment, or maybe it's a really cool car, or more songs for your radio or something. That would be cool. Yeah, and your second question.
So previously I saw that you can make package deliveries, and so now you can go transport people. I was wondering if maybe there would be some additional mechanical differences between those two jobs.
Yeah, so the question being, so there's the delivery system that we have currently, and then the taxi service system. Are there different opportunities for them to interact with each other? Is there differences between them, really? So yeah, it's a good question. I think the main difference is the person being delivered versus a physical object being delivered, but I think they're still both in prototype. So yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, Shane. Okay.
Yes, it's a work in progress. It does not support custom shaders, unfortunately, because you have to work with the basic settings. And as far as in-game currency, there will be a dealership system where you can buy cars.
Okay. Cool.
And yes, that's the main difference to the second one.
Yeah, so it sounds like currency. Well, eventually you can buy cars. And sorry, I missed the differences. Was
Between the delivery systems.
yes.
Yes, that's the main difference.
Okay, so what I explained was the main difference is the person versus the physical object being, yeah. And yes, it is a work in progress. So yeah, cool. Yeah. Any other comments or questions? Yeah, John.
When you mention Lua, I think that Lua is more for Pico 8. This is Roblox, right?
Lua is not tied to any specific engine. It's a scripting language that
Yeah.
on its own gets used by a lot of programs, not just game engines.
So Lua does, yeah, Pico 8 does use Lua. I think there's, some people have been able to tap into Minecraft, I think, even, and use Lua. Now, the underlying question, too, is it just Lua, right? Because it might be, like I said, a mixture of Lua and JavaScript, depending on what you're trying to create. So, yeah, I mean, that's something I don't know. But if anybody does know someone who does Roblox and they can pose the question, I'd be interested. Just that might be a conversation we could see in our channels, too. So if you guys want to talk about it. One thing you can do is, because Roblox is more of a other engines compared to the other three that we have, just post it here. So like, I'd be interested. I know there's some people who also has developed in Roblox that might have done it in a deeper way that might know that answer, but it's a good point. Cool. All right, well, I think we're gonna keep rolling because we've got lots of people going through. So I'm gonna do a quick demo for the new game that's coming out. Let me see if I actually have, actually a post here. Let's see, Balloon to the Moon. So Jake Connor has been playing around with this new update. He's got new cutscenes. If you've seen, I think we posted this during Prototype and Play, But I want to just do a quick shout out. If you're interested, it's now available on Steam as of this month. So definitely check it out if you can. It's been a lot of work into this, and just at least share it with people. It'd be kind of cool to kind of see what your thoughts are and play around with it. But I do have the game, not on Steam, and actually I probably should close that. And I wanted to give it a quick demo. I don't know if the audio is coming through or not, Shane. No? That's so weird. Oh, there it is. Never mind. We have a little bit of a cutscene. That's what I love things. So, in this engine, for those of you who haven't seen this is built from scratch. Like it's not scratch the scratch tool, but like built from the ground up. And so all this artwork is done by Jake. He's a kind of one-man band, so to speak, and has done a lot of different animations and illustrations and character designs and puzzle designs and all kinds of great stuff. So it's been really a pleasure to kind of see the progression in this. Does the music himself. So it's really cool to kind of see, the progress in this. And I'll do like a short demo. Like I know we've showed this a couple different times, but I really like these characters here. All right. So I'll do a new game. So, hello, my name is Peter. Let me get you caught up with speed here. In the last adventure, I really wanted to go to the moon. I got the idea to use the balloons to get there, and it worked. However, it turns out that the moon is already inhabited by what they call moon rabbits. I'm apparently the first human to discover them. They apparently use magic to hide from satellites and drones. But anyways, I was quickly discovered by them. They took me to their princess. Once I met her, I was greeted with kindness, treating me as an honorable visitor. And she was actually quite curious about Earth, and she asked me plenty of questions. Where we were actually getting along quite nicely. I even learned her name just as Princess. However, she knew that I intended to stay and live on the moon, but she told me that I cannot be at the moment. But then she thought about it, and she came up with an idea. She told me that some of the moon's most sacred treasures have been scattered around the moon. It's been very difficult for the moon rabbits to gather them. She then explained that balloons have also been scattered around the moon due to humans' Earth, releasing them, causing them to float up there. She told me that the mastery of balloon bouncing can make it possible to gather the treasures. She told me that if I can get all the treasures, she would make given her permission to live on the moon. She also told me about 5 explorers scattered about the moon. She said that if I can get all of them and make them to a potion maker, not only would it help get me all the treasures, but it would also help me live on the moon. I agreed to accept the trial. Princess allowed me teleporter and step through the start. She wished me good luck and stepped through. Now I need your help to complete the trials. Good luck. All right. So this is a bit of a tutorial, kind of going through using the mechanics. So I'm just using A and D to move left and right, W up and down. I can also use space bar to jump. So now I can jump on the balloon, hence the game. So it's mostly that. We have check marks, so we have these little flag check marks that you can kind of go through. And these are kind of like a way to save your game. It's not only a check mark, but it saves so that you can come back. Oh, those are dangerous, by the way. Don't hit the red things. There are other enemies, too. There's these coins. So I think you were talking about like currency in the game. This would be one of those that you can use these to kind of collect. And I forget what you... Oh, these are part of the trial. You need to collect all the coins in the area to complete the trials that you need to stay on the moon. once you, these are locked walls, you need to grab the keys and unlock them. So if I grab this key, grab that coin. And then this one is, human legs are too weak. You need to collect 5 more exclars. Exclars? I can't pronounce it. Elixirs. Elixirs? Oh, yeah. Okay, so I guess I can't read. There's one more there, but you can come back later and get it. So I can't get that one quite yet. And now we kind of move through these arrows to progress. Got an achievement. Yay! Don't hit that. Yay. All right. So it's kind of a self-explanatory, explorer, side scroller. You kind of just not do what I do and die. That's where the check mark comes into play. I like watching Jake play this because he's definitely a lot better at this than me. These are ladders. So you can kind of go up and down, which is helpful for getting to certain parts of the level. Oop. You can also go sideways. You can't jump on them. I mean, I guess you could jump on the ladder. Oh my goodness. No! Okay. Okay. I am absolutely not the best person for this. But yeah, so there's a coin up there you can get. I'm going to keep moving through. There's a save point. So, split path, you can go one way or another. I did not go the right way. There's also, I don't know if there's like a tutorial for this, but there is a map that you get to at some point. I like that. Whoop. You can go really high. All right. Oh, I think I did something wrong. Okay. Oh, hey, NPC. My name is Potion. Princess told me about you. You can't get that coin up there, but I can help you. Meet me in the stand in the garden. So, yeah, this is kind of like where you're literally going through different parts of the game, and you might have to come back to collect some of the additional coins and whatnot. This is kind of a hub, so it's the 8 out of 30 treasures. Collect all treasures and Princess Jump button to the door, so you can, like, live on the moon, I'm assuming. Good to see you again. Since you collect all the treasures, once you collect all the treasures, enter the palace and complete the trial. Good luck. Also, you can teleport through the moon, so you don't be alarmed when someone else, if we meet somewhere else. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I forget. There was a button I thought. Ah, here we go. So this is the map. This is actually a good place to kind of bring in some of the prototyping that we did. So Jake had actually been going through this session a lot, and some of the feedback that you guys provided was, hey, can we get like a little bit more of like detail on the map? Because I think that these were just, I don't know if they were named at the time, but they were very less specific. But they didn't include like things like the treasure, if I recall correctly. Maybe they did. But this is a great way to kind of see some more feedback that is implemented in the game. So it's great to kind of showcase this because we get questions and comments all the time, and hopefully they can get implemented if it makes sense too. And yeah. Whoop. Okay, well, that's fine. I wanted to just do a short demo. But yeah, feel free to grab this on Steam. It's Balloon to the Moon too. And it's a great way to kind of like support our developers. I think it's like a couple dollars. But yeah, if not, feel free to see them. I think they're going to be at GDEX this year. So it's always a great time to kind of see that being played, and let them know if you have any questions. So just the same way, you can go on to the Discord channel and talk to them there as well, just by clicking on that little postcard under the Share Your Games. Okay, cool. So with that, we have, AJ Tunes, if you're interested. I'll go ahead, what I'll do while we're kind of switching things up, if you guys need to use the restroom real quick or something like that, we'll be ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug, and we'll move through the next thing.
see. Yeah, right over here. Hmm? See, yep. All right.
Anything else? Just
Think that should do it.
people ask questions, just make sure to repeat it.
Yeah.
Get close to the mic where you can, so for the live folks can know.
Hmm.
Are you okay if I take pictures?
Yeah, that's fine. Hmm. See, that's there. All right, hello. We want to give everyone a few minutes first, or?
Yeah, is there anybody? Well, you can talk a bit about yourself and what you work on, and then get into describing your.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name's AJ. I'm the founder and of AJ Tunes, which is just me, my own little LLC. And yeah, I originally went to school to be an animator, and I eventually decided to go into game dev because I felt like it'd be a better way to like get my own stories out there without like, mostly because I can like work on it myself and potentially with others, of course. But yeah, this is the project I've been working on. It's called System Bro the Cyborg Siblings. And a little overview, it's a cartoony sci-fi visual novel where you take the role of two adorable robots and everything they do is up to you. Even if you want them to do nothing. You can customize their abilities and personalities using a tabletop-style RPG system. And you make important decisions that dramatically impact how the story plays out and form deep relationships with a colorful cast of robotic characters. So my main influence while working on this project include the structure of visual novels like Doki Doki Literature Club, the robust role-playing mechanics of CRPGs like Baldur's Gate 3, the colorful art style of early 2000s cartoons like My Life as a Teenage Robot, and the grounded sci-fi social commentary of shows like Black Mirror. So I'll introduce you to the two main characters. These are the characters you'll play as. You'll pick one of them at the beginning of the game, and they'll both have a completely unique storyline. So first up is Sis. She's a bit of a tomboy who puts up a confident demeanor most of the time, but tends to lose her cool whenever she gets put on the spot. She's also very protective of those she cares about, especially her little brother, Bro. Speaking of which, Bro is the robotic example of a chaos gremlin. He's extremely curious, constantly acts before he thinks, and hates being restrained or cooped up in any way, which frequently puts him at odds with Sis. So here are the non-player characters. These are that you'll interact with and form deep relationships with throughout the game. So first is GF. She's Sis's girlfriend and loves her more than anything. She's super chill and cool and laid back. She's also a very talented musician who spends most of her time in her studio churning out bangers. And next up is Doc. He's the town's resident doctor and mechanic and can fix anything and anyone. He's constantly researching and experimenting in order to refine his skills, though he often gets so wrapped up in his work that he disregards pretty much anything else. And next up is Mom. She's the overseer of the town all the robots live in. She only appears on screen, usually to make daily announcements, and she seems to always know what every bot is thinking. And last but not least is Orb. He's a plucky little ball that runs the town's item shop, and he's always in a good mood no matter what. So now let's go over the overall mechanics and systems that make up the moment-to-moment gameplay. So at the beginning, you'll select one of two characters, Sis or Bro. Then you get to decide their stats. And let's see. You can choose from either 3 made builds or create your own custom build from scratch. And depending on which stats you increase or decrease, it'll affect the character's personality and dramatically change the story through different parts. For example, if you choose a character with a more strength-focused build, they may act more aggressive, while a more charm-focused build will make them more gentle. And most of the core gameplay revolves around actions. You'll frequently have one or two or more options for any situation, and the outcome of each one depends on your stats and a little luck. See, when you select an action you want to perform, you'll see your current stat level and a number from 1 to 10. The higher your level in that stat is, the lower the number you need to roll, and the higher your chances of success. And you press the roll button to roll a random number, also from 1 to 10. If the number you roll is higher than the listed number, your action succeeds. If it's lower, it fails. And each success or failure leads to its own path in the story. So don't get discouraged if you fail, because it might lead to something interesting regardless. And actions aren't your only way to interact with your fellow robots. You can also just talk to them and get to know them better and learn more information that might come in handy later. But remember to pay attention to what they're saying. Sometimes they'll ask you about something they said before, and you'll have to respond with the right choice. Answering right or wrong always has consequences. Talking also unlocks new actions you can perform. Remember to keep an eye on those stats. And you can always check your stat levels at any time by clicking on the menu button. It's always a good idea to check these stats before committing to any action. See, the Info tab in the menu lets you see everything you've learned so far about each character. This is handy if you need a little guidance as to what to do next. You can also see your current relationship status with any character. The success or failure of your actions can dramatically change the status, and in turn, how that character behaves. Last but not least, there are items. Using them will change your stat levels, but watch out, while they increase one stat, they'll also decrease another. So always think before you use them. You can purchase items at Orb Shop using bolts, the town's currency. You start with an allowance of 150 bolts, and you can get more by doing favors for different characters. You can also have the option of giving items to characters. Give the right item to boost that relationship status. Now, why don't we see the game in action? I'll just pull it up right here. Let's see, we'll go full screen. Turn the sound on. There we go. Perfect. All right, then we'll go back and just start from the beginning. And let me know if I'm going too fast or too slow through the text. In my current build, Sis is the only playable character, so we'll go with her for now. And why don't I get the audience involved in this? Anyone have any thoughts as to what build we should choose? Yes. All right, then for that we'll go to custom, and when we start we'll have 5 stat points that we can use whatever we want, and we can also decrease the levels of other stats to get more. So yeah, why don't we go with that? Those who didn't hear, I got a suggestion that we should max out strength, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Oh yeah, like I've had people test this and they've maxed it out just like several times. So let's put that all in strength. And looks like that's good, so let's go. And you can also, the auto button here will make the text scroll automatically, so you don't have to keep hitting spacebar. All right, so I'm assuming we want to go with the strength option, so that probably has the most chance of success. So, any objections? All right. So, as you see, we have really high strength at 25, and we need to roll at least a 2 to succeed. So, fingers crossed, we actually do it. And we got a success. All right, so we got some choices that involved smarts and skill, which let me remind you, we've set to 0, so our chances aren't looking too hot, though we also have the option of just leaving them alone, so no risk there. But that doesn't sound like much fun, does it? So why don't we go with, let's try poking his head, see what happens. So we got to roll at least an 8 there. All good. And what a shock, we failed. So let's see what happens there. All right, so while we got a moment here, why don't we look at the menu, see how we're doing here. So we got that strength maxed out and nowhere else. So let's see, right now our status with bro is neutral, and we got a little work into like how he's feeling. And yeah, so where should we go first? All right, so looks like we're going to Orb Shop. All right, so let's go to the shop, and do we want to keep maxing out our strength a bit, or do we want to maybe branch out a little? All right, looks like we're still going with the strength route, so I'll go ahead and get some oil pots, and looks like I got enough for 2, so I'll go ahead and get 2. And yeah, looks like we're not getting any smarter, but yeah, we'll just roll with it. No, they say it's 0. All right, so where to next? All right, we're going to GF Studio. Thank you. That was a big priority for me, making them expressive as possible. Yeah, also the sound effects. All the sounds you're hearing were made by me using a little synthesizer. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk to GF here. And we're feeling a little nervous, so why don't we ask her if she ever gets nervous? And why don't we talk some more? And whenever you select an option, it'll be marked as red, so you can still see it. But just so you know what you've already seen, it'll be marked as such. So why don't we ask her how she got so cool? Alright, looks like we've talked to her enough, so why don't we try acting and see what we can do. And yeah, I think it takes a lot of strength to admit you're nervous, so let's do that. Let's see. And yep, we did it. I did, yeah, with that same synthesizer. Hmm. Alright, that was nice. So why don't we move on from here? Alright, so where to next? Let's find out. Yeah, it's mostly by using items. Yeah. Yeah, and also keep in mind this is all a work in progress, so everything you're seeing and hearing is subject to change. Yeah, yeah. Nice. All right, let's go ahead and talk to him. Let's ask him if he needs any help. All right, since we're running a bit low in time, I'll just do this last act real quick. All right, so we have the action to, yeah. Yeah, why don't we say how it really feels? It's less risky. All right, so that should give you a good idea of how it plays out. So I'll just log off here. And yeah, so I'll go over my release plans before we go to Q&A. So I got my scene page up and running, and you can access it through that Q&R code right there. And yeah, my current plan is to release it in an early access form this coming August at the end of the month, right before GDEX, where I'll be having a table there. So yeah, and after that early access launch date, I'll be putting out regular updates, mostly based on feedback I received from like my Scheme community tabs and Discord, of course. And let's see what else. And yeah, so any questions?
Yeah, what's the process like for getting your game on Steam?
It's let's see, first you need $100, so that's like the fee you gotta pay to put it on Steam, and you also need like, of course, tax info and that stuff, fill out a bunch of online paperwork. But once that's up and running, it's not that hard. Like this demo I have here is also available for download on Steam, and you gotta download the what's called the SDK, like uploader tool, in order to like upload the game. And once you got that set up, it's pretty easy to just like keep updating it.
So there's no like major approval process. It's pretty.
At least on my experience, no. They like accepted it pretty much out the gate. They make sure it like works and doesn't like crash. But usually I think it takes like 1 or 2 days after you like initially upload it before they like approve it and put it live. And they'll let you know if they have any issues. And you also need to create a lot of like promotional artwork, like the all the Steam banner stuff, and you got to fill out the description and yeah, simple stuff like that. Yes.
So, do you imagine this being a pretty breadth versus depth? Do you imagine this being a shorter game with a whole wide variety of options to explore, and you replay it over and over to see what all the different things could be, or something more in depth where you could progress really deep into all the characters' stories?
So yeah, the question was whether or not I'll make this like a bit longer with less depth or shorter with more depth. I'm definitely leaning more towards the latter. Like I imagine like each campaign or playthrough will take about like an hour, hour and a half to get through, but there's going to be like a whole bunch of options that'll like encourage people to go back and replay it several times in order to see everything and uncover like all that those extra little tidbits. Yes.
Kind of off of his question, are there achievements?
Yeah, I imagine there will be. The question was if there will be achievements, and I haven't like delved into that yet, but I'm sure I'll have time to. So, yeah, I feel like that'll be a good way to like either through Steam itself or like even built into the game to like encourage people to seek out more stuff. Yes.
So you said that you had a background in animation, right?
Hmm.
Just out of curiosity, does the game feature any like full like animated cutscenes by chance?
At this point, no, because that would probably take too long. But honestly, I'm not opposed to like maybe down the road adding more, like maybe as like secrets, like or unlockables. You know.
Sorry, do you happen to have somewhere where I can check out your animations by chance?
Not at the moment. Eventually, I got a YouTube channel going where I like have trailers for the game, so there'll probably be more stuff on there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's kind of a work in progress as well. All right, anyone else? Yes.
I'll let you choose either what was like a hard or interesting challenge that you solved along the way to the current demo, or what's like the most interesting or hard challenge you foresee in the future, bringing it to like full release.
Let's see. I'll answer the first question. What was the biggest challenge in like making this initial demo? I'd say like honestly, this is like my first time like diving into like coding, and the engine I'm using is a RenPy, which is, from my experience, a pretty like beginner-friendly like engine. And one of the reasons I went with a visual novel, of course, is they're relatively easier to produce than most other games, at least from what I've seen. So. Yeah, honestly, a lot of the like challenges come from like figuring out like technical stuff, like making sure the auto like system doesn't like skip over the choices and stuff like that, making sure it stops when I want it to.
I use RenPy, and there's a lot of subtle behaviors and default behaviors that you gotta get used to. So I totally sympathize with that.
Yeah, and also make sure you put the colons in the right places. So, yeah, thank you so much. And, yeah, awesome.
Thank you so much, AJ. Appreciate that. Awesome. Cool. And yeah, again, if I think you're on our Discord, and I think you're also in our front page too for COGG games. So if you want to learn more about that, let us know. Definitely check out did you say it's on Steam now or going to be?
Yeah, the Steam page is up and running.
It's up and running, so definitely check that out. Okay, cool. So look forward to that. Awesome. We will keep rolling. Sounds like we're gonna get to our last presentation of the day. So, Andy, if you want to come up with however you want to do the assortments, and we've got. I think you may have noticed up here we have this kind of Doctor Who-like contraption up here. So if you're not familiar, Andy does a lot of really cool kind of like tinkering, 3D printing, mechanical machine-like game design stuff. So I'll let him take over. Yes. I think you're good. Oh, it's back there. Yep.
Is it showing up there? Let's see.
It's not turned on yet. I think so.
Oh, there we go. All right. Make sure this is working. Okay. Sure. Okay.
Just talk a little bit about yourself, your experience.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get it up here.
Why your hat has a scorpion on it? Because that's pretty cool.
Yeah, let's see. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, my name's Andy. I've known Wes for a number of years. Used to come to the GameDev group quite a bit before COVID hit, and then we didn't meet for quite a while. And so I've been developing this thing for like, I don't know, I would say over the course of years. No, is that good? Am I not talking loud enough?
I can hear you now. Yep.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Anyways, I've been coming here for years. I know several of you out there, a lot of you, though you're new to me, so hi. So I have had a fascination with electronics and computers since I was a kid. And my first computer was a TRS-80 computer. I've had Ataris, I've had it all. Love to program. And my son's here, he loves to program too, and he loves games. We've always had a fascination with it. So one of the things that I thought about was, it would be cool if a game had some sort of physical interactivity so that, like say you win a game, it would unlock a physical prize, a toy or something, or some candy, or just something that gives you some physical interaction rather than just an in-game prize or that type of thing. And so I built this item here, but it has a coin acceptor. It'll dispense coins. It'll dispense candy. I've got a scoreboard thing here. It's a physical scoreboard, which can show what level you're on and that type of stuff. You could really do anything with it. You could hook it up to lights. You could do anything. And so I got to put my glasses on here so I can see. So, you know, I'm not going to go over this. You guys can read this up here. But essentially what I did was I took a little microcontroller and I made it so that it would run a web server on it. And I also made it so that it would maintain items like a bank, or you could do a score or anything you want. And so your game interacts with it over WebSockets. And so you can literally use any language or any computer, anything that has like WebSocket capabilities in it, you could send to the little box that I made. And so one of the things that I did with it was I tried to, and my son recommended this to me, but one of the things I tried to do with it was I tried to make it so it's almost like a middleware thing. So it doesn't really, you know, it maintains the bank. Your game doesn't need to maintain the bank, right? If your game needs to know like how much money you have or what score you have, it could ask the server like to tell you that, right? If you want to dispense a candy, right, you could tell it, hey, dispense the candy, or you can have it check and see, do I have enough money to play the game? Like, I made all my games like, okay, you got to put a quarter in to play the game, right? Now, if you get to a certain level, then it'll dispense a candy, right? Or if, and I have like jacks or better. I'll show you some of these games, but I built the game so that like you could really set it up however you want. So I guess let me look at my notes here. So the way that it communicates is the coin dispenser works off of like a serial type interface and connects to it. All the coins and stuff, they're just driven off of servos, and so is that driven off of servos. And like I said, everything's controlled off of web sockets. And I got some pictures and stuff to show you here a little bit later. But so you can see, I mean, I built some games. Jacks are better. Mastermind, always loved that game, so had to build that. Presidential quiz. You know, it was one of these movies I saw where they were like, they said, well, who's the 5th president of the United States? And then the guy just rattled off, oh, like, that's James Monroe. Like, I was like, well, wouldn't that be cool to know, like, all the presidents' names? I go, I got to build, like a quiz game. Just ask me presidents, and if I get, like, 10 in a row, give me a candy. So that's what I did. Minesweeper, classic game right there. Loved that game. Showed my son that game. He'd never seen it before. He's like, Dad, this game's great. I was like, yeah, I know. It's an old one, but it's a good one. And then I'm just kind of like reliving like old arcade games, like old games that I grew up on. So I got this Star Trek 1971 in there, you know. Cool thing about this is it runs a web server, okay? So you can basically save your HTML, your JavaScript, your CSS files. You can save all that right on just a little SD card, like a micro SD card, plug it in, and it serves it up right from there. So, you know, you're writing your game, just put it on the card, throw the card in, and it'll play the game. You can just hit it from a web browser and play the game. And you might be surprised, but I mean, honestly, I mean, there's some really cool games out there that you can play that are HTML games. There's a lot of different engines out there. I don't know if you ever heard of Phaser. That's a great engine. Pick08, somebody mentioned that earlier. You can export that to an HTML playable one, and I'll show you that. Trying to think what else. Like I said, I built a game in processing. Don't know if you ever heard of that. It's a creative. It was designed as like a artsy kind of creative thing at a university, but it's a great engine to be able to play. So I love just experimenting with different, different engines, different game engines, and that sort of thing. So I'm not so much of a person that just like, you know, I'm going to build this massive game or something. I just build something that I like, I play it, and then I move on, try something else. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. Let's see, what else do I have on here? Oh yeah, so this box, it runs off of a $7 microprocessor. Like, it's not expensive to build. It's like, I think anybody could probably do it. I'm glad to show you guys the stuff and how to do it. I brought some examples, and you know, this is not a thing I'm trying to market. It's just a hobby for me. I like to do it. So it can run in, so since it has a Wi-Fi server, you can connect it to your Wi-Fi and then access it from, you know, anywhere on your network. But you can also put it in the AP mode. So if you don't have Wi-Fi, you can just be talking back. You can just connect to it. It's like an AP, like an access point, if that makes sense. So it does that too. I ran into some issues with this, and this is the coolest thing ever. Like, you know, I'm I'm over 60 years old, and I got to tell you, this AI stuff is amazing. So my son showed me this, and so I tried Claude AI. And, you know, I'm not trying to market them or anything, but I will tell you, it's like having your own personal junior developer working for you. And yeah, and so I'm building this thing and I'm saying, hey, it's serving up HTML files, but then I'm trying to load like libraries and like, you know, like pictures and all that stuff, and it keeps crashing. And I tell it what I'm doing. I'm writing all this like in MicroPython. And it said, and I said, I'm doing this on a Raspberry Pi Pico. And it said, oh, well, here's the problem. You have very limited memory. Let me add garbage collection to that. Let me add memory management to that. And it'll do it. Sometimes it's wrong, you know, but it's, you know, I can even write a game, or I can pull a game like off of like GitHub or something and say, hey, this is a cool game, but I want to integrate it with this. So I tell it like, hey, can you add a WebSocket to this? And can you tell, and in this code, can you tell it like, when I want to play a game, can you send a WebSocket request to that and say, play game? And if it has enough money, you know, it'll come back and say, so all it does is like the game just sends a WebSocket to this device and says, you know, play game. If it comes back true, then it deducts 25 cents, and it gives a true, and then your game plays. So that's the type of functionality that's built into it. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, here's some of the games. And you can see here, so I have this 7-segment display up here. This is a whole nother thing that I just wanted to do. But, and I didn't design this piece. It's an amazing thing, and I have a 3D printer, but it's 7-segment displays, but they're mechanical displays, and they're hooked up to servos. And so I integrated that with some of the games. So I thought that was the coolest thing. Let's see what else. We'll try and get through it here and just show you a few things. Yeah, this guy's kind of random stuff here. Oh, yeah, the AI was like tremendous in this, the Claude AI, because I said, hey, I'm having this problem or I'm having that problem. It said, oh, well, let me build some debugging into it. You know, let me add this so it checks. And it's just, it's amazing. In fact, I'm going to tell you, to be honest, like this Jacks Are Better game I'm going to show you, I asked Claude AI, I said, hey, can you write me a Jacks Are Better game that I can play in a browser and, you know, make it with HTML and JavaScript and just put that in a single HTML file along with the CSS. And it came back and it built it. I didn't have to do anything. Now I can tell you, I can show you a game that I've spent months programming myself, and I can show you a game that I built in a day or so with Claude AI. So like I said, I'm not trying to promote it, but it's super helpful if you're working on a game and you're kind of stuck. AI can be your friend. Now, I have not tried ChatGPT or other ones. Maybe there's better ones out there. Be interested to hear from you guys if you guys use that at all, or if you like it, or if you've ever tried it. But there's some tips I had. So, yeah, it's, these are just some of the things that I had here, like embedded web, you know, real-time communication, all that sort of stuff. Look, I don't want to bore you with that kind of stuff. If you guys want to hear more about that, glad to talk to you later. But let me just go ahead and show you kind of where I'm at.
Oh, will people be able to get access to this PDF after the event if they need it?
Sure, yeah. Well, yeah, sure.
Just like a breakdown of this PDF. Yeah, if people are interested to read more on it, because there's a lot of content.
Yeah, there is a lot of content, and I actually, I probably shouldn't say this, but look, I use Claude AI. I did a lot of the project work in Claude AI, and I said, can you summarize can you summarize my whole project? And that's kind of how this came up. And actually, and I asked it, like, tell me my successes, tell me my failures. I have a whole nother PDF on that, like what went wrong, what did I do wrong, you know? So it's just useful, it's helpful if you want to know how to get better with things. And then, so I have these pictures here. Sorry, I didn't do a PowerPoint. I guess I've just been working too much on this that I didn't get to the PowerPoint. Look, I would love to do a talk at GDEX on the Dev Day. I could probably do more in the programming piece of this and explain things in greater depth, but like I said, I don't want to get too carried away tonight. So, so this goes back several years here. Let me see if I can open this. Okay, I built this box. This is my first box here. Look at that. Okay. Nice pop-up. Okay, I built this box. It's got a coin acceptor on it. It's got like, it's got a little 7-segment display there with a bunch of buttons, and those little buttons, so you could add coins, you could do all this stuff, and then the little 2 slots, I had a prize that would come out, 2 different types of candy, Hershey's Kisses, no, little Hershey bars, and then I had Reese cups, and I built that all in this box. And then, so here's the inside of what that box looked like. Looked like that. It was built out of foam. You can kind of see in here, here's the little Hershey bars here, and it was all in a tower, and there's a little server right here that would dispense. This was built on an old board. There's an SD card here, and this all, I finally got it to work over Bluetooth, and it would work over like a serial cable. So it's set on the shelf, and I like looked at it for like a year, and I was like, I think I could do better. So, I started with this, the Raspberry Pi Pico, and that's a little bit of wiring there, just a little breadboard wire, $7 little microcontroller. This down here is a stepper motor. And a stepper motor, you just send it a signal, but it can just take incremental steps, and that's how I dispense the Reese cups. But so after I kind of figured out like how I want to make it, I use this program called EasyCAD, and I drew the circuit board out. And then, so this is what the board looks like that's inside this box. That's a 3D rendering that comes out of EasyCAD. Look, I've never done that before. I picked it up, I learned it like in a few days. Watch some YouTube videos, there you go. So this one has like a connection right here for the LCD display that's on that. The coin acceptor plugs into that, and your stepper motor, and then you have all your servos here, and there's a little reset button here, and your power comes in, just takes 5 volts. So that's that part. And then I got the board back. I sent off to China or whatever, and I had the boards made like you know, $2 a piece, but after all the taxes and everything else, I think it wound up being $6 a board, and I bought like 10 of them. I soldered everything in, and this is what I wound up with. Now, this is my progression right here. I showed you the breadboard, but this is my first iteration of soldering it on like a physical board, just wiring it, soldering it up myself. Here's like the SD card. This thing controls the stepper motor, and then your server's over here, and I had a little power supply on here. Then I said, well, I could do better than that, so I went to the second version right here, and I added a second stepper motor, so I have 2. I removed the power supply. I said, well, I'm just going to use 5 volts rather than trying to use 9 or 12, so that's what that happened. And then after I got that worked out, that's when I drew it up in EasyCAD and had the board made out, and it's substantially smaller, has all the functionality, works great. So this is what's called Thonny. It's a micro Python editor, basically. And this is what I wrote the script that controls the microprocessor in this MicroPython. It allows you to be able to upload to the microprocessor. Here's an example. So remember I was telling you about JAX or better in Claude AI? So you can take a look at it up there, but you can see it's like it's telling you all the functionality of it and everything. And it comes back to the prompt here, try this, and this is what it built. That's a new one. I'm working on a new one. This one's going to be, so this is a different microprocessor. It's still like a $10 microprocessor. This one has more than twice the speed of the other one. It streams stuff so much faster. It's great for like a web server. It just has a lot less, it can't do as much hardware. I had to get rid of a stepper motor. I had to get rid of an extra servo. It's a little bit, it just doesn't have as many pinouts, but speed-wise and processing-wise, it far surpasses that. So I've got the boards coming for that next week to build it. And then, let's see if I had anything else here. Yeah, so that's what it's going to look like when it gets built. I decided I'm going to solder this up myself, and I'm not going to solder up micro SD. So this is a standard SD slot. So, anyways, that's that. And then the last slide I have here, just an example, and I just took this off the internet, but this is just an example of some code that you would use to control a servo, and then it shows you a little servo down in here. You know, even if you don't know anything about this, YouTube's very informative. You know, anybody can pick this stuff up, really. I mean, if I can, I think anybody can. Okay, well, let me get to the good stuff here. Let's see. Well, that's not where I want to be. Yes, it is. Okay, all right. So here it is, game collection, and a bunch of games in here. So let's start with like Minesweeper here. Okay, so if you look here, it says like 4150. That's how much it would show on the display up there. I'm just going to do an example here. So if I take a quarter, put a quarter in, see how it says 4175? It just added money in there. So now when I go to play this game, it should deduct a quarter, so it should go back to 4150. Okay, see, it went back to 4150, and then you're playing your game just as usual. Of course, I lost, and that's not the point. But so if you would win, then it would give you a reward. Let me show you the jacks are better because it just has something built into it here. Since I did jacks are better, I said, look, let's just take the money out of it. Let's just do credits. So basically a credit is 5 cents. So if you play 5 credits, you're playing a quarter. But if you want to dispense, the way to pay it out, you're not paying it out in money. You just dispense a candy and it'll deduct some money for that. So go ahead and do that. And so, yeah, you guys can see the candy came out. So that's how that works. And I was surprised how good that Claude did. There you can see. I mean, it's doing pretty good. Let's see. Well, I might need your help with this one because I'm still no good at this. Okay, now just to show you, this is kind of what Claude helped me build in, but it kind of shows you, like it'll give you a debug down there. Is it connecting? Is it not connecting? All that type stuff. It's pretty slick. But anyways, let's play this. Okay, 41st president. Somebody got to come up with an answer here. Anybody know who the 41st president is?
Can't you cheat with the
Yeah,
console?
I did put a cheat code in. Okay. All right. Here's the cheat code. Oops. More tools, developer tools, console. Here we go. Program. Or no, it's presidents. Okay. All right. So it starts at 0, so we have to subtract 1, right? So let's just go to 40. 40. George Bush. Correct, you win. Play again. Oh, did you see that increment, by the way? Okay. So this is what I want you to watch. So when you win, like when you get 10, I think you get a candy, right? So this incremented to 1 right now, so you can see. So every time, that's why I wanted to cheat a little bit or whatever, so you guys can kind of see this. Play again. Let's see, 12. 12 would be Zachary Taylor. See, now it says 2. Play again. 44 would be, that's Biden, right? Oh. Oh. It reset it to 0, didn't it? Yep, see, I'm back to 0. I got to get 10 to win. All right, we're going to move on. All right, let's do, well, let's see. I'm just going to show you a few of these because I don't want to ramble on, but
What's the beginner, intermediate, advanced?
there's, because I built into it AI. So you're playing against the AI. And it's like, do you want to play as a beginner, medium, or intermediate? And then the prize is based on the level that you're playing at. So you can just see, I mean, it's just, Connect 4, right? Okay, let's see, what else? Memory match. Okay, everybody thinks like, okay, this is a kid's game. Man, I gotta say, but I'm gonna show you something. Okay, maybe it's just because I'm old. Let me get rid of this thing. Okay, let me make it, see if I can make it, can I make it smaller? Control minus. Wow, genius, okay. So this game for me is difficult. I mean, because watch this, I'm gonna pick one. You see that? What is that? Happy face? Okay, I'm gonna pick another one. Crying. Now what's that one? I don't know. That one was upside down. That one's, I don't know. But look, wait, that was happy. Was this happy? Oh, that's a different one. So, do you realize how difficult it is when these meet? Look at these things. They're like so closely. Yeah. Oh, there's a professor. That might be easy. There's a crying. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I thought I saw a happy up here. Oh, okay. The problem is that I tried to find stuff that's like so closely looking that you're going to be like, well, wait a minute. Was that? Okay. All right, let's see what else we got. Yahtzee. Oh, look at this. Star Trek. Oh, okay. Got a little problem there on my card. Let's try the 1978 version. Oh, here we go. Oh, better make this bigger. What's that, Control Plus? Yeah, so did you guys ever play, I don't know if you're old enough to play this, but that's all like the map right there of the Galactic Empire, and you have torpedoes and phasers, and you have to move, warp drive, and it's a fun game. It would take a while to go into it, but so that's in here. Frogger. Oh, here's Donkey Kong from Pico 8. Now, we'll see how long it takes this to load, because it might load. That's the thing. It's a large file for it, so we may or may not get it to load. You know, when I get the new one built, it'll do much bigger files. So I think I'll just skip it for now to save time with you guys. I guess that's, what else was I going to show you? So you saw that increment. Oh yeah, so built this into it too. This way I can show you all the functionality. Oops. It's kind of a hidden page here, I guess. Yep, I did. There we go. Okay, so that's right there, 3850. That's what I have in the bank. That's what it should show on the display right there. So I could do, for example, set bank. I could set it to $10, and it's in pennies, so $10, enter. So now it should show, if you were to come up and look at it, it would say it had $10 in the bank. Let's say, and I'm going to put some money in here. Hold on. I don't have money right now, but I just want to show you how this works. So that's what this contraption is here. Okay, so this is what would go over your WebSocket, right? Sorry. So now it kicked out a quarter, right? A dime or a nickel. It does the same thing with the nickel. The same way it does. This is how it was issuing that candy. Well, yeah, there it is. And then those numbers up there. And then, you know, and you could, so I could, if you want to see it, like, I'll show you here. Let me just copy this so I'm not. Here we go. Let's see. Yeah, we can see it faster this way. Did I not copy it? Sorry.
You didn't get the full straight.
Control C. Control V. Here we go. Now when we get to 10, it'll roll over. So it has to reset the 1, right? Here you go. And then if you do a reset, sets it back to 0. So that's pretty much all the functionality, and I've got examples of the boards and stuff up here. So questions?
Maybe not so much a question, but I feel like with this kind of like how playing the games will kind of physically interact with like objects and stuff, I feel like this could really work for like an escape room environment. Like if you complete a certain game, you can unlock a door or something, or dispense kind of like a key.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. my thought was, what I really wanted to see, what I thought would be cool is, I don't know, take a game, maybe something Blizzard makes or something. Imagine if you buy the collector's edition, you get a little box, and you just have to plug the little box into your machine or whatever. But after you get a certain chest open or something, you could get an unlock code or something that it would send it, and it would open the door, and you'd have that physical prize, like maybe like a little coin or something. I don't know, just that's where I think it would be fun somehow to interface with a game like that. But honestly, I mean, you can, anything you can think of. I mean, you could have a red light, a green light, like, you know, you could, anything that you could hook up electrically, you could do. So, any other, what else?
Was there a type of candy you thought would be great to dispense and you found out quickly that it was not?
So this is the challenge, is it's a mechanical question, right? And so if you're a good mechanical engineer, you could figure out a lot of stuff. I was trying to figure out a way to do it like a vending machine, like you put them in a row and then it just turns it and drops it out. But type of candy, I think if I built this a little taller, I could put Hershey Kisses in it. I did have one that had my old box had a round drum in it, and you could set anything in the drum, and it just rotated the drum upside down and dropped it. So, and you could put that in a column. So you could pretty much do anything. It's just when you try and have a whole bunch of them that you want it, so you don't have to keep refilling it. That's where you have to figure out, how am I going to do this? So, but I used to do radio control airplanes and stuff, and that's how I know how to do servos and stuff. But what else?
Somebody was asking online, is this code that you're working on available on GitHub or someplace for people to poke around with?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could put, I don't care. I could put it up on GitHub, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not there now, but I don't mind putting it up.
Any other ideas of additional, like a ticket dispenser, or maybe something that, like you said, it unlocks or you interact with it, and maybe it actually, because right now this is all output, maybe also something that you can do something with a physical object and it will affect the game, I guess, like a regular controller.
It's funny that you should mention that, because I've been meaning to go to, there's an antique mall near Springfield I've been meaning to go to. You might laugh at this. I want to buy one of these old rotary telephones, and I want to hook it up to it and have it where you have to dial, like you have to guess the number or whatever, almost like Code Breaker, but you have to use a physical phone dial. That's my next idea. But I was really hoping if anybody likes something like this, talk to me and maybe I could hook you up with something. But if you're willing to make a game that would do something with something, because I'd love just seeing games run on it. But that's it. So, but look, I'm not hoarding the information. I came up with a lot of it, and it's just my own hobby. But glad to share it with whoever.
There's also more of a comment than a question, but I can almost see like a streamer hooking something like this up and letting their chat interact with it and like drop something on their physical head.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah, and then you have the counter on the camera, and so the chat can see how their interactions are messing with it, and then it can just like actually do something to the streamer physically, which would be kind of fun.
Right. I mean, yeah, it like I said, it just uses a WebSocket, so you could have it drop confetti or whatever if it just sends the information to it. So.
You almost need somebody who's willing to maintain the whole system and keep it stocked and everything, and that
Right.
I can see could be a market. Is that it can be so customizable to a person's particular channel or experience that they're trying to engage with. So yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, very cool. Yeah. All right. Anything else, or? All right. Well, thank you guys for letting me show you this.
I was going to ask if there's an infinite money glitch. All right, so I'm going to be here just so I can talk to folks online. Thanks for everybody for coming out to our second Boxland Media Game Dev Meetup event for COGG. This is the point where you can hang out online if you'd like. You can go to our Discord if you're online doing simulcast. And then in person, we have pizza here. Just kind of grab and growl. I know it's, just a little bit for tonight so that you guys can have something to feast over. But yeah, check us out, thecog.com. Check GDEX coming up in September at thegdex.com. And hope to talk to you guys more in person soon and then online. Feel free, if you have a game, you can kind of set up on some of these tables back here if you want to showcase anything. We'll be here for the next hour. But yeah, hang out, have some fun, have some joy, and get to meet each other. And let us know if you have anything else. Thanks, everybody. I'll catch you next time.